Alright, so what's up everybody? It's today, and basically I just want to tell you, if you've seen the last couple of videos, I've been talking about the iclear 30, and now that I'm not smoking the cigarettes anymore, that's kind of that and my MVP have been a pretty big part of what's going on lately. So, the iclear 30, it worked great the first day or so that I had it, or, the big thing is if you vape on it a lot, it seems like you need to clean it a lot. And if you clean it a lot and it has those original coils in it, it's going to be done real soon. They expect you to unscrew that shit and throw it away and buy some more stuff from them. But you can rebuild it. There are videos out there on how to do it. For the most part, if you've seen any videos on how to do stuff, that's kind of how you're probably here checking this video out now. If you want to see how to do it, leave a comment or whatnot, and I'll set this phone down, and I could probably pull out an HD camera and do it. But I just kind of want to show you. If you saw the last couple of videos that talked about it, I had a situation. I was in a pinch. Bought some coils, some pre-made coils. They're 28 gauge. Put a single coil 28 gauge in my iclear 30. It turned out to be a 0.9. It would fluctuate to 0.8. Since then, which I might have posted that a day or two ago, I can't remember. I changed the coil again, and I'll show you the reason why. And if the silica wick is just dicked in there, just throw that shit in the trash and get you some cotton. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. But at this point, what I've done is I've pretty much found what I think is probably about the perfect combination. And I'll also talk about a couple other things, but let me go down here and I'll show you. Basically, right now what I got in there is one of these pre-made coils. Okay, I know the focus is terrible. That's 8 wraps is what it looks like to be. 8 wraps, 28 gauge Canthal. And honestly, I couldn't tell you what it was wrapped around, but it's like a micro coil or something. It's small. Over here, you check out this silica. All that shit is just burnt. So here was the one from my last video right here. This was a 0.9, 0.8 ohm. I was running it at 10 watts, and it worked great for. I mean, I vape. Apparently, I vape a lot. Maybe that should be what I serve vapes a lot or something, because this silica is just fucking toast, just done. And so you vape on it for a little while and it just starts tasting like shit, doesn't work the way it should anymore, and done. So I'm going to show you now. Basically, in the iclear 30, what I got going on is I put another one of those same coils in. This one ends up being 1 ohm. Okay, so it's at 1 ohm. Oh, whoops, no, that's not what you want to see. It's at 1 ohm, and with this 1 ohm, I've been using it 10.5, 11 watts without any problems, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But basically, if you look here, the thing that happens is that silica, it gets so jammed up in the coil that even if you decided you wanted to change it, you're screwed, and you can't do that. You'd probably end up ruining the coil trying to get that out of there. I will say this coil that I have in here, I still have this good one left here, because I basically got a tank in the mail, a UD tank T7, and basically I'm just trying to limp this one along, right, until my other one gets here. But I got to tell you, with the combination that came up now, this thing works so freaking good that I just hope that the other one works as good, because I do like the way the other one looks a lot better and stuff. Plus, it's a rebuildable one and yada yada, which would be way easier than trying to dick around with these little insulators that are inside of this thing and all that. The main key is that upper insulator. Like I said, if you didn't see, go back 2 videos and check that out. If you're trying to rebuild one of these and you're having an issue, that was my issue, was the upper insulator. You don't get your one lead behind that. When you put the pin in for the other lead, it's going to touch that, and you're going to have a short period. So a couple things I did is I took this original drip tip off, and I don't mind the fact that it moves around and stuff so much, but the freaking hole in this thing, as far as draw, is super small, which may be okay for some people. And I'll tell you what I did is I have these old, like you see this guy, bam, you see right through him. So what I did was took one of these, I basically had a couple of them regular cheesy ones that you get with a twist or just a regular. I just had one of them, you know, old school, I call it old school. I guess it ain't old school, you know. It's the kind of tank you get with one of these batteries here. And these work decent, but the thing is once this kind of shit happens, it just ain't gonna work the same no more. And I pull out my pack of cigarettes and just start smoking again. So what you need to do is right now, like I said, I got this single coil in there. That's 1 ohm, and even with that, you get the silica in there. That shit just burns like crazy. It's only good for a short period of time. So right now in here, I got a cotton. All right, so just an iclear 30 rebuilt with a single coil 28 gauge Canthal, and right here I got the Zeus juice. I'm sure you probably can't read that. That's a Aphrodite's Affair, which is kind of chocolatey and creamy, and it's not bad. I mean, I don't really like those kinds, but I had the sampler pack. That's the last Zeus one I'm down to. The Zeus juice is awesome, killer. I'm definitely going to get some more of that. But you know, you can see what I did and what you got to do to these tips, because as you can see, if I put them next to each other, it might be kind of hard to see because this is a phone and the camera, you know, the camera's not the best. The tip there, which I'm trying to kind of cut it off so you can see, the tip here at the end is a different length. The black one here off those cheap ones is way longer than that, so you got to cut it off and then like sand it down a little bit. This is the first one I did, and that one I ended up making too short. So anyway, this is the second one I did, and it ended up being the right. I'd cut it longer, and then I sanded it down just till I got it where I want. Because what happens is if it's too long, it pushes that rubber thing down, and then it'll, you know, close your wicks off or whatever. Which I've also, that was the other thing I did, is I modified this rubber and I cut some of that off of there, like people talk about doing, to keep it from pushing down on top of my wick. So between having this bigger, airier tip, cutting that short, and then cutting this off so it doesn't push down on my wicks, that made one hell of a difference. But like I said, when you got that silica in there, it's just terrible because it doesn't last any time at all before you got to redo it, and then you can't even get the silica. Like the silica in this one coil here, this coil is so good, but I'm gonna have to basically cut that off and try and fiddle fart around with trying to get that out of there so I can reuse that coil if I wanted to do that, just because I'm still waiting on some Canthal and stuff to come in the mail, and I don't have really anything to work with. So for what I had to work with, I ended up with this right here, which is, like I said, iclear 30, single coil, 28 gauge, and I got cotton weaved through it instead of silica. And I've been vaping on this thing for hours and hours, okay? And I'm going to try and show you. I usually end up dropping the camera or the phone because I got to do this with one or two hands, and I can't unscrew shit and everything at the same time. But you know, like I said, it's 1 ohm. I've been using it at 10.5, 11 watts, no problem. I mean, anything over 9.5 watts, the thing was frying just way too quick. So here's what I'm gonna show you. Check this out. Well, here first I'll show you this. Let me show you a quick vape on it. Ready? And I mean, this is, and I won't complain. I mean, this iclear 30 was kick ass when I first got it. but then it fades away so fast, and it's like alternators on a new car. You know, they expect you that shit should last. It shouldn't be just throw it away and buy a new one all of a sudden. So 10.5 watts. And look, that's been the same since I did it hours ago. With the silica through there, if even if you keep the wattage low, the coil just still gets dick. It just ain't cool. So not only is the vapor twice of a brand new one of those. When it's brand new, it works good, I'll admit that, but it doesn't work anything like that, and it tastes so much better, which everybody says, you know, cotton is the way to go as far as that is concerned. So let me just show you this one other thing real quick. I'm going to try and unscrew this thing right here, and I'm going to try this. I dropped this before when I did this, but I don't want to just set it down, so I'm going to, oh, see. Alright, I don't know if you can even see anything or not, but I guess it's better than setting it down on the counter. But the main thing I want to do is I want to pull this top off. Oh, see, look, I did it again. Probably done blew your speakers out again. Anyway, I got it off there at least. So what I want to show you is if you look inside of this thing now, I think I can probably get a good shot of it. Like right now, if you look inside there, I'm totally covering up the camera lens. Holy crap, beg my pardon. I mean, you can still see my coil is still silver, just like the surrounding elements. And looking at, I mean, that thing is still clean as a whistle. So I mean, that was the main problem I ran into before, is if you're using silica, and even on, you know, the other coil that I put in there, or the original coils, which were like 32 gauge or something. Holy crap, that is just a terrible shot, and I just totally have the, maybe if I do it over here, I'm pretty sure you could see it though already. You just got the flashlight all up in it, it's all discombobulated, but I mean, you can still see it's pretty silver in there. And you know, basically that was the main thing, is the coil is just getting so gacked up, wicks are just screwed. And that happens, like I said, to me within a couple hours, because I vape a lot apparently. But you get that coil in there, and you use cotton instead, just with one wick, one coil. Don't overlap on top of the coil or nothing like that. I tried that. That didn't work. It just burns the shit out of the wick too, and then it gets all clogged up, tastes like crap. You got to redo things with the quickness. So anyway, that seems to be the best right there, is a 1 gauge. I'm sorry, 1 ohm is what this coil reads. 1 ohm. It's an 8 wrap, I think. Which, like I said, I didn't make this coil, but that's what it looks like. 8 wrap, 28 gauge, around something small. I can't even tell you what size it is. I mean, but these little bitty dudes fit right in there. So I mean, the bigger stuff there was tough to get in there, but I mean, look how frazzled that is. I mean, that just looks like it tastes like shit, right? Yep. And that's after a couple hours, you know. That's shortly after the last video I made, which it was working awesome, I'll admit, but you know, look at it now. This thing, you can still see the shine. You can still see the shine on that coil. And now, and you know, when you went to fire it before, it was nothing like that. So there you go. That's what you need. And I'll probably just, you know, I'm going to hold on to this and keep that as my backup after I get my UD. So, thought I'd show you that. So until next time, I'll see you then.